What is going on? Scenario Talk 23. I'm back with another video. Before we get into the video, YouTube, I need you to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. Turn on that post notification bell while you at it. Today we got final footage of famous rapper being killed during dice game. Let's get straight into it. Long live Takeoff.
This horrifying video shows the moments when popular rapper Takeoff was gunned down at a private party in Houston. The footage has been blurred due to its graphic nature, but you can actually hear the gunshot sounds before Takeoff collapses after being hit several times. The harrowing cries of Takeoff's uncle, Quavo, can also be heard in the background.
Okay, let's stop. Who's Quavo? As many times y'all, she probably done heard about the Migos, as she knows she ain't hear no Quavo. Come on now, let's be for real.
Is to save his nephew. But it's too late. Takeoff is pronounced dead at the scene. But how did things get to this nightmarish end? The answer will leave you completely speechless. So let's take a look at the final footage of a famous rapper being killed during a dice game.
Damn, Takeoff.
Takeoff was born Kersnick Kari Ball on June 18th, 1994 in Lawrenceville, Georgia. His dad left when he was still very young, and he was raised by his mom, Latavia Woodward, who worked as a hairdresser. He grew up alongside his uncle, Quavius Kiate Marshall, popularly known as Quavo, who was 3 years older, and his first cousin, Kiari Kendrell Cephas, or Offset, who is a year older and married to Cardi B. The three boys grew up as brothers in the same house, with Takeoff's mom, Latvia, taking care of all of them. This is what Takeoff said in a 2013 interview about his relationship with his uncle.
I don't look at him as my uncle, but more as my brother. But we always have clowned on each other. He is my uncle, so I gotta clown on him.
Takeoff's love for music started at a very young age, and he is actually the one that approached his uncle and cousin with the idea of starting a rap group while he was in 7th grade. Quavo at the time was more into sports and football and didn't really take music seriously until they dropped their first mixtape in 2009. At first, they called their group Polo Club, but later rebranded to Migos. Since their first single, Versace, in 2013, the group has scored several top 10 hits on the Billboard Hot 100, including Motorsport, Stir Fry, Walk It Talk It, and Bad and Bougie, which got to number 1. They also received 2 Grammy Award nominations. Now, those who knew Takeoff in person said that he was a cool, soft-spoken guy who rarely got into trouble with anyone.
He was the quietest one
Quavo
out of
said
all
this
of
about
them,
him
bro.
in an interview.
He likes to work and mind his business. He doesn't like to be involved in a lot of things. He just likes to make good music for the people.
A week before this tragic incident, Takeoff had made an eerie statement while being interviewed on the Drink Champs podcast, saying,
You know, I'm chill, and I'm trying to lay it back, but it's time to pop it, you know what I mean? I mean, it's time to give me my flowers, you know what I mean? I don't want them later on when I ain't here.
Sadly, he would not live long after that. On the night of October 31st, 2022, Takeoff, Quavo, and their entourage went to a private party in downtown Houston where the CEO of Young Empire Music Group, Jazz Prince, was having a birthday. But the birthday celebration would soon turn into a horrifying nightmare. Early Tuesday morning, at around 2:30 a.m., police in Houston, Texas, responded to reports of a shooting in progress at 810 Billiards and Bowling in downtown Houston. When they arrived at the scene, they found a huge crowd gathered on the balcony outside the third-floor bowling alley, where a man was lying dead with gunshot wounds.
Black male in his late 20s. And like I said, we won't release any information on him until we're able to get more information either from the medical examiner's office once they positively identify him from the autopsy, or if a family member or friends or family come forward and give us information of who he is and things like that.
Although the police did not immediately release the name of the victim, rumors had started going around that the man killed was actually Takeoff. Initial reports about the shooting said that Takeoff and Quavo were playing a dice game at the private party when an altercation broke out and someone opened fire, shooting Takeoff. either in the head or near his head. By 7 a.m. that morning, TMZ had released a horrifying video of the incident, which showed Quavo looking distraught as he knelt over his bleeding nephew moments after he was shot. Some people tried to move the injured rapper, but quickly put him back down.
Seeing that shit for the first time, everybody like, bro, not Takeoff, bro, like, shit, man.
Quavo screamed for help. In another video, you can hear Quavo talking on the phone with what sounds like a 911 operator. He asks, what does she need to do? As a woman on the scene, who was said to be a nurse, tried to help. The nurse would later give an interview, revealing the harrowing ordeal, saying that she didn't even know that the man she was trying to help was actually Takeoff. She said that she was in her house when she heard the gunshots and people screaming.
So when I got there, I looked at him. His head was this way and up, and his eyes were rolled back and fixed.
Oh my goodness.
And I saw a pile of blood behind his head. I didn't see where the gun was shot. I've stopped for car accidents before. I've never moved the patient.
The nurse said that she tried applying pressure on the wounds to stop the bleeding, but then realized that she was too late. Takeoff was gone.
The uncle was very distraught. I mean, after I told him, I said, and I started crying, and he grabbed me, and he's like, please, please. And I started bawling.
Many people who watched the haunting footage criticized the nurse, saying she didn't do enough to save Takeoff because she didn't perform CPR. But the nurse said that performing CPR in such a situation would only cause more blood loss.
And what y'all don't realize is she was already too late. If you shot in the head, how long does it take for you to? So it's like y'all doing all well, this was back then when it first came out and stuff. Everybody was saying all this and that, but if they would have realized the severity of it, she didn't have enough time. He was already gone by the time she got there. So
audio recording of emergency dispatchers reporting that 5 shots were fired at the scene.
All I heard was shots and people screaming.
The graphic videos and disturbing images from the scene showing Takeoff lying dead in a puddle of gore soon started circulating around the internet, receiving hundreds of thousands of views within a few hours. The police confirmed Takeoff's death later that day at around 4 p.m. in a press conference.
I spoke to this young man's mother just an hour ago. Flew in here from out of town. I want everybody to understand the pain, the suffering of a mother. Very tough. And I told her, as we stand with any victim of violence or any homicide victim, their family, we stand with them in this city, in this police department.
While giving details of the shooting, police said that Takeoff was actually an innocent bystander.
He was just standing there,
involved
bro.
in the altercation.
He wasn't even trying to get in the
dice game
shit.
argument happened afterwards outside the bowling alley, which led to the shooting. Takeoff was not involved in playing in the dice game. He was not involved in the argument that happened outside. He was not armed. He was an innocent bystander.
Another chilling video released by TMZ actually showed the terrifying moments before the shooting happened. In the footage, Quavo can be seen arguing with a group of men as Takeoff stands quietly a few feet behind them. There's a discussion about playing basketball, and someone, probably Quavo, says, "I don't get down like that." Then, seconds later, a single shot is fired, and everyone scampers for safety. Several more shots ring out into the crowd, and chaos ensues with people screaming and running in different directions to escape the hail of bullets. Police revealed that at least 2 firearms were used during the shooting, and unfortunately, Takeoff was struck several times. 2 other people, a 23-year-old man and a 24-year-old woman, were also shot in the chaos, but were able to take themselves to the hospital with non-threatening injuries.
A lot of the people that were there fled the scene and did not stick around to give a statement, so we're asking them to either call us at the Homicide Division at 713-308-3600, or if they would like to remain anonymous, they can call Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS. We're looking for any information at this time, any videos, any information.
Earlier that day, Takeoff, Quavo, and their entourage had been captured on CCTV entering a popular jewelry store in Houston. The owner of the store said that he had known Takeoff for some time, and he was a great guy.
She just said right there on Monday night, Takeoff is the one, very, very quiet, so nice. I've been around with them so many times.
Just a couple of hours before the shooting, Takeoff had shared a picture of himself standing outside the bowling alley with the lyrics to the song Stop Breathing. Quavo had also posted a video several hours earlier as he drove around Houston with Jazz Prince.
Got the birthday boy. Yeah, we on the field. Yeah, the field boy.
Takeoff's death was ruled a homicide, with the medical examiner determining that he died from penetrating gunshot wounds to both his head and torso.
We lost a good man. Everybody, the hundreds of people that I talked to, spoke on what a great individual he was.
He was, bro. Nothing bad.
The news of Takeoff's tragic death rocked the entire hip-hop industry, with many going to social media to pay their tributes and mourn his death. Takeoff's label, Quality Control Music, later released a statement on Instagram saying, "It is with broken hearts and deep sadness that we mourn the loss of our beloved brother, Kirsnick Khari Ball, known to the world as Takeoff. Senseless violence and a stray bullet has taken another life from this world, and we are devastated. Please respect his family and friends as we all continue to process this monumental loss." Rapper D. Singer could hardly control his emotion as he went live on Instagram to share that he was done with rap.
Yo, the round.
Okay.
Singer and actress.
I don't know where this lady is from, what top part of, I don't know, but what is she calling these people? Who is D. Singer? She know that shit say designer. She trying to be funny and shit. She know that's not no goddamn D. Singer. Man, come on.
Tiana Taylor posted a photo of Takeoff in a shirt promoting her 2018 album with an emotional caption saying, "Please tell me this is just a bad dream. Please. I don't want to believe this, lil bro. Please." Drake shared a photo of him and Takeoff performing together on stage. "I got the best memories of all of us, seeing the world together and bringing light to every city we touch. That's what I'll focus on for now. Rest easy, spaceman, Take." Boxer Chris Eubank Jr. also shared his tribute saying, "I remember Takeoff being a very down-to-earth, cool dude. Can't believe I'm having to say this again about another young black star being killed for no reason. Something really has to change in the industry. It's sickening how easy and often people are dying. R.I.P. Takeoff."
I ain't never seen
Other
him fight,
celebrities who also paid their tributes to the slain rapper, including Gucci Mane, Outkast, Machine Gun, Ja Rule, Young Miami, and Beyonce, who changed the landing page of her site to a photo of Takeoff. Many people also expressed their concern about the alarming rate in which rappers were getting killed through senseless gun violence.
It doesn't matter how famous you are. You may not be famous at all. Anybody who loses his or her life is a life lost. And there are family members and friends who are grieving as a result. What I've consistently said over the last several months is that I'm concerned with this age group, this young group between 16 and 24, let's say 16, 24, 16 and 30. There are too many young men of color that are killing young men of color. And we do need to have that conversation.
Sports journalist Jamili Hill wrote, "I was in college when Biggie and Pac were killed and thought there's no way we would experience anything remotely close to that again. Now it's happening so frequently that you barely have to recover before someone else is killed. R.I.P. Takeoff." Takeoff was laid to rest on November 11th, 2022, in a heartbreaking ceremony attended by thousands of people, including celebrities who eulogized him as a nice, humble, and talented guy, who despite his fame never stopped putting his family first and making sure they had everything they needed. Meanwhile, investigators were working around the clock, going through surveillance video footage, cell phone footage, and other physical evidence, trying to find the shooter. And on December 1st, a month after the deadly shooting, 33-year-old Patrick Xavier Clark was arrested and charged with the murder. Another man, 22-year-old Cameron Joshua, had also been arrested on November 22nd and charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon during the shooting, though he's not believed to have fired it. Court documents said that Patrick and Cameron were among those who were arguing with Quavo outside the bowling alley. Apparently Quavo had walked away from the argument, but a guy by the name of Willie Bland, who was in his entourage, punched Cameron after he reportedly saw him trying to pull out a gun. Willie said in a statement that he thought that the men were about to try and rob Quavo. Investigators said that after reviewing video evidence and reconstructing the shooting, they were able to determine that Patrick was the only one whose physical positioning aligned with the angle at which Takeoff was struck.
We had to rely on a large volume of video surveillance evidence that came in, and cell phone videos and audio, things that surfaced over time in some cases that weren't available immediately. We had to sift through all of that and use physical evidence and use shooting reconstruction.
Another evidence that pointed to Patrick as the lethal shooter was the wine bottle, which he was seen holding on surveillance footage during the shooting. He left the bottle behind and fled the scene immediately after firing the shots, only to return to the bowling alley shortly after before fleeing again. His fingerprints would later match the ones found on the bottle. During his bail hearing, the prosecution said that shortly after killing Takeoff, Patrick applied for an expedited passport by submitting a travel itinerary for an upcoming flight to Mexico. He also had a large sum of money with him, which, according to the prosecution, made him a flight risk. Patrick's bond was set for $2 million, but he was released on $1 million bond after his lawyer managed to get it reduced. The date for the trial has not been set yet, but I'll be following it up to keep you updated. What do you think about this case? Let me know in the comment section and be sure to like and subscribe for more videos.
He was trying to get out of there though. RP Takeoff, man, this whole situation, it was just a bad time, man. The Migos already was breaking up. What's his name? Offset went on his own. Quavo is... Oh, man, I can't believe we lost Takeoff, though, man. But you too be rocking with the channel. Go ahead and leave me a like, comment, and subscribe. Catch me on the next one.